in Jiu Jitsu, your base is your foundation. You create force by driving into your base, and you absorb force by leaning into your base. Your base is typically described as your connection with the mat, but it could also be your connection with your partner if your partner is beneath you. It's integral to every technique you're going to try to hit in Jiu Jitsu, and the composition of your base is going to determine the quality of your balance. So what I mean by this is if Alex's center line moves outside the line of his base, or if Alex's center of gravity moves outside the line of his base, he's going to lose balance, right? Which means if his base is very narrow, that it should be easier for me to do that, to move him outside. But when that happens, you notice that he's opened up a lot of space here. So what does that mean? It means that when your base is narrow, your balance is compromised perhaps, but you're protecting your inside space. So we have these two relationships, base and balance and base and inside space. And the wider your base is, the harder it'll be for me to move your center of gravity outside the line of your base, but the easier it will be for me to occupy the space inside your limbs. The opposite is true if you close your base. Like we just said, it'll be very difficult for me to access the space inside of your limbs, but much easier for me to break your balance by moving your center of gravity outside your base. So you have these two key relationships, base and balance and base and inside space. And whether you're playing bottom position and trying to upset somebody's base or get inside that inside space, or whether you're in top position, you're trying to guard that space, but also trying to maintain top position, we're always trying to balance these two relationships out. If I'm trying to sweep my partner, understanding where they could compose a base is super important. Otherwise, I'll be wasting energy constantly driving them into places where they can't fall. They can't lose balance. If I'm taking Alex sideways and I don't control his arm, he's just going to post that arm out, right? If I control that arm and I try to take him over his shoulder, I've taken him into dead space, space where he could not create a post to support his weight. If he does manage to adjust to my pressure, let's say he puts his leg out in the direction that I'm trying to off balance him, if I continue to try to off balance him in this direction where he's opened up, I'm just going to waste energy. But knowing that he can no longer be off balance in this direction, if I switch my attack to look at the space that he's created by widening his base, I can still move myself into a strong sweeping position. So understanding where someone can create their base and how it interacts with their balance, but also how it interacts with their ability to guard their underneath and their inside position is what's going to make you more effective from your guard. You're going to be able to create opportunities for sweeps easier, and you're going to waste your energy a lot less attacking things that aren't there. Okay. So another point is when I'm trying to take him over, if I'm using just momentum from my butt, that's going to be difficult. But if we rotate a little bit here, but if I sweep him with one hook with my other foot on the ground over here, you notice now I'm making a base on the opposite side. So I'm trying to take him to the right, my right. I make a base on my left and I push off that base. And now I've created I've leaned into my foundation to drive and knock my partner over. Come back. This is an offensive application of the idea of a base or a foundation, right? I push into it to create force to move something. Can also use this defensively. If Alex is driving into me, I put a hand to block him. I put my base next to me. It does nothing to help me stay up. But if I place my base in the correct spot, in line with my arm, creating a strong structure and making it very difficult for Alex to knock me over. So here I'm leaning into a base point to support my weight. So we've seen that you have both offensive and defensive applications of your understanding of base with regard to creating force or absorbing it. And we've seen that base interacts with somebody's balance and also their inside space. And by understanding these two things, you're able to chain and parry your attacks correctly from guard. You're able to protect your inside space while maintaining your balance from top position. You're able to execute techniques and you're able to defend techniques. So anytime you're learning a new move, try to think about where the base points are located. Try to think about these relationships and try to incorporate that understanding into your application of the move to make it a little bit better.